Hi, Jerry.
Hi. Google.
Yes. Google, I'm looking at the GOOG. I'm not looking at the GOOGL.
Whichever one, yeah.
GOGL. Let me just see. One's at 1148 and the other is at 1149. Doesn't matter. So I'm looking at Google because that's the one that I always use. And that says in leg B and leg C. So, oh no, it's in leg D right now under the previous peak F of 1186.89 on the 29th of January. The huge move down. So this from 1186 down to the 200 period moving average exactly at 992. So that's 300. Oh, that was a really one of the sharpest declines on a percentage basis it's had in its most recent few years of history. So, am I wrong? Am I recalling that you had it and we were looking to see where, if it pulled back, where there would be support, and that, if I remember correctly, I'd said this is something that you want to keep. Am I wrong?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking of adding to it. I got a gut feeling that this group is like the triple Qs is having one more run. I don't know how much it's going to go, but Google is lagging, but it's the cheapest stock, and I think it's going to make a new high.
So, Jerry, this is what I'm going to recommend to you, even though it's what I call a gray leg D because it's under the previous peak F high of the 29th. That was the all-time high. I'm agreeing with you. The technicals are starting to improve. There's a way to do this. And because this is really a breakout session in some key indices, at the same time, it's a very powerful move that keeps getting added to throughout the day, and sectors that I think are really important as a tell on the market so far are doing very well, like the semiconductors, like the brokers. I'm going to say to you that at 1149 right now, to add to a position, I think it's not a bad idea. You've got 40 points to the upside before it retests the high. These could be very difficult, 40 points if, in fact, all of a sudden come over the weekend, whatever news it is, and then we start this every week within the week, we've had big moves up and down. Looking at it historically, as I said earlier, the move in the Dow, when you're looking at the Dow, this is chopping. This is one of the smallest moves it's had in a week, considering what it had done when it made the high of the 26 at 26,600 and plummets 12% to 23,360, or the 18% decline in the NASDAQ. My thinking here is that we are starting to build some support, and that I don't know if I'll have time to talk about it, I hope today, talk about the internal low and the residual low. So let me just say that as far as Google is concerned, this is still a stock that is in the most attractive group. It's, the FANG type stocks.
Right.
So I think you're right. And I would just say to you, you know what, if you bought it now as an add-on, in other words, it's part of your portfolio, let's call it a shorter term trade rather than a position play. It could turn into a position
definitely
play.
a shorter term trade, right?
So if it's a short
I find stocks tend to fill gaps.
Yep.
And it had that gap down, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go back up to that at least.
You see, what I would say to you is that when stocks or indexes fill gaps to the upside after a gap to the downside close to the lows, I find that's really bullish. Doing it when it's closer to the highs, I don't have the same kind of evidence. In other words, the material that I'd look at, there are not that many times that stocks gap down huge and then continue down lower and then fill it and then just start a brand new move. More often than not, I like to look at it as a longer term. So I'm just going to say to you, buying it at 1149, I would have some kind of a stop, maybe even a 30 to 35 point stop, because this is a trading position with a large price stock. I'm going to say to you, that's the way I would look at it right now. But what I really would say to you is by Wednesday of next week, I want the gap low is 1157. and you're only 8 points away from that. If by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week we haven't filled the gap, then I'm going to say to you, keep an eye on this. You don't want it to get away to the downside, but I would say to you right now at 11:49, I'm with you. I'd have it as an add-on position and let it tell you what's going to happen. Expect to have a lot of resistance come up when it gets to the 11:57 to the 11:87 area, because that traditionally that V-shaped pattern, that's where you'd expect resistance. Hey, I'm with you. I'm saying to you, as a trading position, even though it's in leg D and we've missed the low under 1,000, this is still in the ballpark, and the weekly chart is really improving nicely, and the monthly still looks very good.
Yeah, I'm thinking on the market that we've diffused the tariff thing for a while, so that's not like a big fear, and that this employment report was almost perfect. Like
Yes.
You got low wage gains and high employment, and it was like the best of both worlds. So
Correct.
the rates won't go up too much, and that you now, going into the end of the quarter, are going to get guys reinvesting some money.
And it gives you room, Jerry, you want the wage inflation at some point. You want people to be making more money. So I'm kind of with you. And not only that, we've had so much in the way of potential terrible news. Even with Cohn leaving, it was perceived as a bad thing. I don't know. The market just seems to say, hey, look at the big picture. I'm trying to find my Boston Globe front page. They made this thing, this 2-page front page back before Trump was elected. You remember the Boston Globe had this? The Dow is going to plunge back to the 6,000s. It was just the most depressing. And I said, I've got to keep this, and we'll see how wrong the Globe is going to be. And look how wrong. And they never talk about it ever. I want to find that paper, because we are seeing the disbelievers become believers now. And I don't care what you think politically, the market likes what's going on. Google likes what's going on at this particular point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling, Jerry. Have a great weekend. We'll be back, folks. Dow is up 339. S&P's up